If you want to experience high speed and exhilaration in a cheap package, well, your options are pretty limited these days. But what if I told you it's possible to have a sick ride that gaps Ferraris and it costs less than your bro's laptop Civic that he won't shut up about? I'm talking about EXO cars, an entire underground culture based on taking a dirt cheap crap box and tearing it down to bare metal in the name of performance. These machines are incredibly light, crazy fast, and hey, if you sell everything that you take off, you might even make some money out of it. But be warned, this ride is not for the faint of heart. Stick around till the very end of the video to learn more about some of the dangers associated with this type of build. The beginning of the EXO car craze stretches all the way back to the Lotus 7. Although this little roadster might not have had the insane external frames that highlight modern EXO cars, the philosophy that runs through them all was born here. Colin Chapman, the father of Lotus, built his cars with one aim in mind: simplify, then add lightness. Rather than cramming more and more horsepower into a heavy car, focusing instead on weight savings could have the same or even better results at a lower price. Over the years, this attitude has evolved into the exoskeleton builds we see today. Usually the project starts with a beat-up early 2000s sports car. Think Miata, Xtegra, Civic, Huracan, maybe even a spicy 240SX. The next step of the process involves a very large sawzall and possibly a few hammers. Does this part make the car move? If not, off it comes. The entire body, doors, roof, and hood included, are removed to save as much weight as possible. After that, some aluminum tubing and a sturdy roll cage are welded in place. If that sounds like a pretty simple and sketchy type of project, well, you're completely right. EXO cars can weigh over 1,000 pounds less than the stock donor car, giving them a power-to-weight ratio that rivals supercars. The most mainstream example of an EXO car is obviously the Ariel Atom. I think most enthusiasts have had a similar experience with the Atom at one point or another. You wake up early to drive over to your local Cars and Coffee, and there, through the blurry haze of the rising sun, appears a wild-looking track slayer. Is it a large go-kart? Is it a roach of unusual size? Nay, it is the Ariel Atom. It's a pre-built road-legal EXO car based on a custom chassis and powered by a turbocharged Honda K20. It makes 320 horsepower for the rear wheels, but nobody really cares about the power numbers. The real show-stopping stat is the 1,312-pound curb weight. That's less than your mom. This means the Atom can accelerate from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds flat. That's nearly as fast as my motorcycle. But of course, the Atom is quite literally the top of the EXO car food chain. It has the best fit and finish, it's the easiest to register for road use, and it's possibly one of the safest as well. But all that comes with a huge cost. Nearly 80 grand for a new one. It's a ridiculous car, and that's a ridiculous price. If you prefer an authentically affordable EXO experience, then a company called Exomotive might be able to help you out. They make the Exocet, a Miata-based DIY kit with the potential to be assembled into a capable track car, rugged off-roader, or even an insane daily driver. For around $8,000, you get a lightweight tube chassis with laser-cut aluminum panels, an available roll bar or full roll cage, and a comprehensive hardware package to put it all together. This is combined with your own 1990 to 2005 Miata donor to complete the build. Construction time is usually around 100 hours. Final cost can be less than 15 grand. And what you're left with at the end of it all is a 1,500-pound open-top two-seater. But to be honest, the Miata isn't the most impressive car in the drivetrain department. So Exomotive recommends swapping in a Honda motor, maybe some forced induction, or even a monster Miata V8 setup. The possibilities are nearly endless and guaranteed to be a lot of fun. The Exocet is an impressive performance package, but of course, there are fanatics who would rather take things into their own hands. A lot of exoskeleton builds are welded up over the weekend by amateur enthusiasts. Some fabrication shops will offer to make you one as well. Krowrx in Alabama is responsible for some of the coolest EXO cars I've seen online. I'm not sure if the garage is still in business, but their rap sheet includes the Xtegra-based xtegra, this former Lexus IS350, and naturally a Miata, cleverly nicknamed the MXO5. Just because exoskeleton cars are cheap to build and pretty quick out on the streets, that doesn't mean it's the perfect affordable solution to your exotic car dreams. For starters, the weight distribution is usually imperfect. Leaving a heavy motor in the front of the vehicle with practically nothing in the back can reportedly make them feel imbalanced around corners. Not to mention the complete lack of aerodynamics that can reduce top speed significantly. There have also been, unfortunately, some tragic accidents involving poor welds and illegally registered builds. It's not a ride for the faint of heart. The culture really does feel like the closest a car guy can get to the sport bike world. But if that's exactly the type of vibe you want, well, proceed at your own risk. Thanks everyone for watching. If you could hit the subscribe button before you leave, that would really help me out. We're right around 61,000 subscribers right now, and you know I'm trying to hit 69K before the end of the year. But again, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.